to be leading us in a really lovely and grounding meditation. So I invite you all to either turn off your cameras, you can keep them on, whatever you feel comfortable doing, and get in a really comfortable, grounded position. So maybe you want to lay down, maybe you want to, lean back a little more in your chair. I really invite you to get comfortable. And let's just all take a few deep breaths. It's the middle of the week. I know we're probably thinking about a lot, so I invite you to inhale. And as you exhale, maybe close your eyes, get centered into your body. And what I really loved and enjoyed about this book was how so much of her work was based in imagination and our dream space. And so I invite you all, if you are in, the comfiest space in your house, maybe that's the space you think of, but I really invite you to conjure up in your mind the most restful, at ease environment that you can, and really get into detail. What is, maybe you're in a really cozy blanket. What does that blanket feel like? How does it feel on your skin? What are you smelling? What are you wearing? And I really invite you, even if you are in a super comfortable, cozy space right now, to take yourself even deeper into your imaginative, restful dream space. And really just notice what that does to your body. I'm already feeling way more relaxed, way more at ease. In my dream space, there's a candle. I'm in this really white, fuzzy blanket, and yours can be your own design. And let's just take a few breaths here in this space. And I invite you throughout this conversation to exist in this place and bring us there with you, because this is kind of where the work is, the rest is. So I invite us all to exist here throughout our time together. Maybe take a few more deep breaths, really extend your exhale. And just notice how much more at ease, how much more welcome you feel in this space. And how gently, it's a gentle revolution, right? How gently and lovingly and, sacred that space is for us. So really breathe that in, really breathe in that space. Really breathe in the sensation, how it feels, how it looks. And whenever you are ready, I'm not going to rush you. That's not what this is. Whenever you are ready, I invite you to open your eyes, to get back in to the environment, but keep that feeling, keep that ease, keep that restful energy that you have just cultivated for the rest of this conversation.
Thank you so much, Rain, for that beautiful, beautiful moment of rest. I'm so excited. Like, way to ease us into the thing. Um, Savannah. Savannah is going to provide us with some community agreements, because y'all know when we get to talking, we talk. And the book And the topic that we will get into tonight, I'm hoping brings up a lot of things for us to discuss and even to share. And it's really important that tonight, this sacred space is a container in which each of us feel comfortable, each of us feel seen, and each of us feel heard. And in order for that to happen, we got to have some agreements, you know? So, Savannah, welcome to
Yes,
the space.
ma'am. Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm so glad to be in this space together with each and every one of you and to be talking about this book and the importance of rest, which I think we all can take some time to rest. Just quickly going over some group agreements while we're in this space together. Just important. Number one, remembering that this is a communal space. We are all here to learn, grow, build community together. And because of that, we want to be considerate of everyone in this space together. So as we're speaking, we want to make sure that we're leaving space for other people to also share their opinions. So if we're someone who usually tends to speak a bunch, maybe thinking about kind of toning it down a little bit and leaving some space for some other people to speak. And if you're someone who doesn't usually feel like you are comfortable to voice your opinion or there's space to voice your opinion, just kind of leaning into that today. And then realizing that we're here to support you. We all are a family together and we're here to build together as well. And then also, I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that we are on Indigenous land and that this land has been taken from Indigenous people and Brown people within the United States. And this is also an issue worldwide as well. And as we address issues of white supremacy, of capitalism, of the exploitation of Black and Brown people, just acknowledging that this land was theirs at first, and that also the labor of Black and Brown people went into building these structures, and a lot of those people, most people of these people were never compensated and were exploited. So just taking a moment to honor those people, honor the space, honor their contributions to society and allowing us to be here today. And then also, if you're feeling tired, you need to take a break, feel free to take a break. This is all about rest. So if we get to like 30 minutes in, you're like, actually, I need to rest. Please feel free to rest. You can clock out. We got a recording. It will be here for you. We will be here for you. You can email any questions you have and we'll just figure it out from there. But I'm very glad to be in this space together and looking forward to the rest of this evening. About to rest.
That's right, Ashley. Listen, well, we are about to get into it. Um, Again, this is a collaboration. We're all going to be chatting tonight. Feel free to add comments to the actual chat. You can also come off mute, come off camera, whatever you feel is your jam tonight, sis. Rock with it. But just out of curiosity, how many people have the book and read the book? Rest as resistance. Rest is resistance. I don't have the cover for mine, but this is it. How many have read it? Let me do a gallery view so I can see. Put a thumbs up or put in the chat like me. I read it. I read the book. I'm seeing a few thumbs up. I have not. Very awesome. Making my way through part
Two.
two. Okay, Megan. I have not. Awesome. Well, listen, the cool thing is, okay, Rachel, you got the book. I listened. Oh, highly recommend it.
The
So,
audiobook was great.
listen, for those who have not read the book, tonight's conversation and experience will not lose you. You are completely fine being within the space, having not read the book. Because if we reference the book, we're going to read the part for you. But some of the questions and conversations that we're going to have are very general in a sense that it won't require you to like turn to page 35. Okay. So we're going to get into the first question. When you hear the word rest, and I mean R, capital R, EST, rest, what immediately comes up for you? And what do you feel? And you don't have to answer that like immediately. I'll say the word again, and you decide how it lands for you. Rest. Latoya, the book is Rest is Resistance. We'll actually put the link in the chat as well. So for some, when they hear that word, what comes up for them is sleep, relief and joy, comfort, quietness. I feel positive without stress. I feel calm, breathing, and calmness, peaceful, bliss. Bonnet o'clock, ebony, ebony, ebony. Yes, sis, that bonnet o'clock. I swear I keep one near and dear. Time to go lay down. Yes, absolutely. Peace, relax, and calmness. Absolutely. That bonnet o'clock is good to my soul. It had to be said, ma'am. Yeah, with all these sisters up in here, bonnet o'clock is real. And I don't care what time of the day it is, that bonnet is coming out. Right, absolutely. Savannah, what comes up for you when you hear that word rest?
Um, I think because we've been talking about it so much, I think of resistance now.
Ah,
So I think her book did a good job.
okay. Um, what instantly comes up for me, usually when I hear the word rest, is slow down or go sit down somewhere. Like just instantly. Um, when you hear the word resistance, what comes up for you? That could be anybody. And feel free to come off mute. I swear y'all have beautiful voices.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. Okay. Friction. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So rest and
Uncomfortable.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Uncomfortable. Yep. Resistance, forceful.
Forceful. That's nice.
Boundaries.
I like that.
Listen, bonnet o'clock and boundaries.
Mhm.
Pushing. Mm-hmm.
Really?
No hassle. Uh-huh. Yep. So,
When I think of resistance, I think of liberation.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. Thank y'all for sharing. One of the um one of the reoccurring thoughts that she um makes mention of throughout the book is just helping us realize more and more that we are human beings. And there is this idea that a lot of us have bought into, that we should be moving and grooving all the time. We should always be in motion, and often what ends up happening is when we are encouraged to rest or to slow down, that is directly correlated to our value and often what we think of ourselves, right? Does that happen for any of y'all? Like, so much of what you do is tied to your identity and sense of value. Is that an issue for anyone, or something that you've noticed within yourself? You feel more valuable the more that you do, either on your job or in your families or in your friend groups? I'm seeing some yes. I'm seeing some yes. Yep, 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 yep.
Absolutely.
And even just, culturally, and for many of us, when we look at our
But
family,
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Come
I
on,
know. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
because
Share
listen,
the tips.
Growth.
we
Yes.
agree. But for many of us from our families, and when we look at our lineage, so much for those of us who were enslaved and here we are, it's something about work and something about constantly producing that makes us feel valuable. And so for folks who are often valued and praised for what they produce, oftentimes the thought of rest seems lazy and almost seems shameful because we got stuff to do, you know? And
Mhm.
so how do you all normally find yourselves um, making peace with what someone mentioned, that friction that we often feel as it pertains to our rest, knowing that we are in cultures and we are in families and friend groups who value and praise productivity? That's for anybody. Rain and Savannah, I just threw that in willy-nilly.
Agree.
That was great.
I think there's shame associated with a Black woman resting because there's so much to do, whether you're taking care of your family, immediate and extended, work, friend groups, and there's this trend of, I have this many businesses. I don't know if you caught on recently. It's, I have all these businesses. It's like, what? Just, relax. And I think that there is shame with not being productive and active and all of the things that you do. And there's still value in, you still have value even if you're not being productive.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And I
Thank
really think I don't want to cut anybody off. Someone said I think learning how to say no is something I'm practicing a lot.
you.
I definitely think that's a huge thing. Has anyone else experienced that too? Like practicing no, saying no to things? And like we talked about boundaries a little bit too, like, yes, completely agree, definitely. Specifically in academic spaces, that's interesting. I can see that. For me, I think that there's so much of the narrative within the United States too is based upon like this pull yourself up by your bootstraps thing, and like people who work hard are rewarded always, and that a lot of people who are in the situations that they are there because of the lack of work that they have done. And I think that's definitely a narrative that's been used to kind of oppress Black and brown people, to like reaffirm this narrative that like they're lazy somehow when they've been working for forever, like building this whole society that they've got other people gotten to really benefit from. And when I think about that, the second question that we wanted to pose to y'all is, we think about grind culture and like, I need to rise and grind and like I can sleep when I die. How do you think that plays into kind of like the continued oppression, that continued narrative of people as if they're kind of like a product of their certain circumstance, and not so much as just like a society? And then I think Branisha has her
Yeah,
hand up.
I didn't want to just cut in, so I raised my hand. I think
There
I
you
wanted
go.
to, okay, I wanted to speak to the whole grinding, and what I hear a lot is booked and busy, like, that your calendar has to be filled up. And I was once one of those people. But this overall conversation, I think we were talking about it being mental health awareness. And what I was able to identify is that booked and busy is very detrimental to my mental health, if I speak for myself. And so being that I am an important factor to my business, organization, to my family, then I have to prioritize the care of myself, with no being the complete sentence, boundaries being put in place, and rest being the top priority of the blueprint for my business, because if I don't get the rest, then me and the business is going to crumble and fall. And so I took that mindset into consideration, and I've been able to maintain a successful business and maintain a proper mental health by caring for myself and taking a break when it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Beautiful.
I have a question, like a follow-up question for you. When you were first starting to make those boundaries and make that decision for yourself, what came up for you? Like, was it an easy process?
Absolutely not. It was not easy at all. I am the oldest of 7 children, and I have been taught to hustle and
Oh,
grind my entire life. And so when it came, it was very, very hard. It was very complex because then I have a family that put an expectation on me, and I had to grow the muscle to say no. Even one part of me really wanted to do it because I'm used to the know it all and the do it all, but it was the no that was very, very hard, and I had to keep working it until I kind of got a grip on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's real. She talks about that in the book some, about how it's hard. And she also talks about how even after she was able to set those boundaries, it was harder for other people to kind of accept that she actually had these boundaries. They kind of thought it was like a joke. Like she was like, I'm actually not, I'm checked out. And they're like, oh, I'm still gonna send you a message. Like, we're still gonna keep trying to like talk to you. So I thought that was interesting. She's like, yes, yes. Put her hand down. Got some exclamation points. So as we think about rest and resting and resistance, how do we think this interplays within Black liberation and working outside of structures that within white supremacy and capitalism that are so destructive and burdensome to people, and make it feel as though we all have shared, make us feel as we should be ashamed to rest. We should feel ashamed to have boundaries, ashamed to say no. How do we feel that? How do we place into leadership hustle role? Yeah. Do you want to speak a little bit more about what you mean when you say that? Miss, or I'm gonna mess up this first name. Shiva
Castellanos?
Castellano.
Yeah, I just feel like when you grow up being the oldest in your family, it definitely puts on that pressure of like you're your parents' second hand, and anything they can achieve, it's left on your plate, no matter what age you are. And then even after you leave that house, it's still like your siblings are always going to count on you for everything.
Mm. It's true. It's hard. I'm the oldest sibling, so I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Can you repeat the question? It's more so we're just talking about the relationship between grind culture, and how it shows up into our life, and is it like a positive thing? Is it a negative thing? Is it a neutral thing? And if we're thinking about rest as an act of resistance against white supremacy, if we're constantly caught up in the grind, are we just playing into those structures by trying to like, I guess, prove that these narratives are false that have been like constructed for us, or what? And there's also the thing too, is a lot of people don't have a lot of money. So sometimes it feels like you have to keep grinding because you got to make money. You got to like lift your whole family out of like poverty or like X, Y, and Z, but it's just so complex. And then Latoya, she has her hand raised.
A quick comment I wanted to add to the discussion is with Black women being one of the most successful groups, we strive to work the hardest, to outwork people, to be on the same playing field. And that is counterproductive to our mental health. And I think it does play into white supremacy in that, because we are just as good. I mean, other races can do the bare minimum, and then we're always exceeding expectations just to be enough. And that is a constant struggle, I think, that we all face in, our career fields, and that contributes to poor mental health with within Black women.
Yep. I think it's also very interesting that there are families where generations exist of both women and men who never experience themselves rested. You know, like when I think of my mother, I don't know that my mother knows who she is as a rested woman without having tended to children, tended to a husband, tended to churches, all of these things. Like her life has always been in motion. And it's like the rested version of herself is a stranger and is so far removed, you know, to the point where that person she can't really imagine because what is that? Like, so I just do nothing, you know? And I think that is one of the impacts and effects of grind culture and white supremacy, who has made us believe that we are a bunch of human doings. And so we do work, 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 work. And folks are grinding, grinding, grinding as if they are machines, believing that we have to earn our rest, and that rest and wellness and well-being and wholeness is something that is experienced on the other side of life or is experienced in death. One of the things that the author mentions on page 28, she said, "You are worthy of rest. You don't have to earn rest. Rest is not a luxury, a privilege, or a bonus we must wait for when we are burned out." I hear so many repeat the myth of rest being a privilege, and I don't understand this concept and still deeply disagree with it. Rest is not a privilege because our bodies are still our own, no matter what the current systems teach us. The more we think of rest as a luxury, the more we buy into the systemic lies of grind culture. Our bodies and spirits do not belong to capitalism, no matter how it is theorized and presented. Our divinity secures this, and it is our right to claim this boldly. I'm not grinding ever. I trust the Creator and my ancestors to always make space for my gifts and talents without needing to work myself into exhaustion. That landed like boom. Hey, girl.
It's heavy.
It is because Miss Jones Mitchell, I don't want to mess up your name, but I see your hand up.
Mhm. Wonderful, Danae. Thank you, sis.
Okay.
You know, the question, about rest, this grind culture, white supremacy. The first thing that came to my head is it's an attack on our ovaries.
Ooh.
And because it comes for us and our submission, participation,
Mm.
and it causes us not to be fertile, right? And so literally and figuratively fertile, right? Because really at the end of the day, it all comes with a huge cost, which fits right into racism, white supremacy, right? We don't really want you to reproduce. It makes us sick. Birth rates. It goes right into that. And there's so many ways to spin off. Our nervous system, our endocrine system, all of that. A sister was talking about, cancer, and we are like we become like hamsters or whatever it is, cats, dogs, animals, whatever the foreleg is, chasing our tails because someone has told us that we can, if we run fast enough, then we can catch it. And we never really do, not in that way, which is why the book or the reading that you just read is so profound, because really it is I cannot think straight unless I am still and I am quiet. And my body, my mind, and my spirit needs to be well. And when that is in alignment, then everything that I need really does come to me. And it's not a sitting lazy come to me like I'm gonna sit, I'm not gonna ever work and food is just gonna come to me. I mean, I thought it could, but it just, but it it just, anyway, us not resting really fits into racism and white supremacy. That's exactly what they're where they want us to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Thank
Mhm.
you so much for sharing with us, Danae. There's a few hands raised. Clarissa.
I think Alicia had her hand up first.
All right, let's go with Alicia.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I earlier in the chat, I think you asked like what comes to mind when you say rest, and I think you read it as positive, but what I actually meant was possessive. I'm very possessive of my rest. Um, I'm a daughter of immigrants from Central America, from the Caribbean, and when you are, the oldest daughter of like people who have done everything they can to come here. They expect a lot of you, and I have not known rest since I left my mother's womb. I don't think. She, like many people have expressed, like she doesn't allow for it, and I think that's that whole bootstrappy thing that you know, um, a lot of our ancestors and a lot of the diaspora, has really like kind of internalized that you when you stop you die, or like it's just going to be the way it is. Life will always be hard, so get used to it, keep going. And so I don't talk about my rest. I'm really possessive about it. I don't want people to like micromanage my rest, my peace, so I don't like share how I get it. um I keep it to myself because I work hard to do my job, but I make it look easy. But if it make it look too easy, then I'm not sweating enough.
Mm,
And so like, I keep it to myself. I do my job, and I try to like not, do too much, not be too extra, and not be a little bit too weary. Like it takes a lot of work to like look average sometimes, just because I want to protect my peace when I make it for myself.
mm,
And I think that ties into white supremacy because folks love to see you sweat. They love to see you wrecked. And I don't know why. I've never really gotten it. I do enough of it, like, surface wise, to like show that like, my breath is a little out of breath, and I'm Russian, right? But I really have, spent a lot of time really paying attention to how people like look at a person that wants to have balance. And it's just not good enough for somebody to say, wow, you're balanced. People want to add to that pressure, not say want to, but in like corporate spaces and like employment spaces and school and academia. I'm a teacher. It's not enough to be like, okay. You got to be not okay. I'm okay. I'm not okay. You're not okay. Right. Um, so I'm really possessive of my space, of my rest. I don't really know how to relax in that area. I just adopted children literally like a week ago from foster care system. So I know that I have to learn how to model my rest and
mm,
model like a balanced life so that they have something to grow to.
mhm,
And that's why I'm here, is because I need to do better. I need to do differently for them and for myself so that we can have a long life together as a family. But I look forward to reading the rest of the book. How do I rest? I rest. I meditate. I rest in my car. I use the bathroom. I take a shower. Like, I'm a mom now, so it's like, oh my God, I don't rest. But at the same time, um, I do my best. I just ordered noise canceling headphones just to block them out because they're so loud. But I do my best whenever I can. But I don't really talk about it like to the masses, because I know that the minute I do, no matter what's going on in my life, I can talk about my woes. Nobody seems to care. And people want to just add to it.
mm, mhm. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And congrats to your amazing children. That's beautiful. That is very, very beautiful. Charlisa? I hope.
Yes, you said it correctly that time.
Right.
It
Got it.
is Charlotte. Yes. Okay. I think when you had made mention earlier, talking about the grinding culture and how we're constantly in motion and when you were stating that, it brought back just the statement to me as I look at my parents and that generation, the older generation. Um, when we're talking about in their 70s and 80s, that they're still constantly in motion. At least my parents are, and the other members of my family in that same age bracket are. I think they're not at a point where they can feel to be at rest when you're thinking at the age they should be and enjoying the latter part of their years, but they're constantly doing something, finding third, fourth careers, and they're just continuing to move, especially with my father. But I think it still comes back from where uh, if they didn't work hard, they didn't grind hard, then they didn't feel like they were really as successful or really could make it in society. And they weren't viewed as being, a part, a part of the status quo. So with my father and my mother and where they were raised and reared and just the upbringing, so then I came to the point where I didn't really value rest because then I took the same concept and continued to grind. But until I had my cancer journey, that was a change in life that forced me to rest. And so now today I value rest more so than anything. So I think that sometimes it can come back from generations and how the older family unit and their concepts and beliefs and how those same thought patterns can stem down to the younger generations. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Charlisa. I think I said it right. I really appreciate what you said about family. That is really where, of course, we learn it from society, but a lot of it originates in our family system. In the book, she talked a lot about how her father would wake up at 4 a.m. Before going to work and before leading his church service, just to have a minute with himself, to breathe and to rest. Which I really resonated with. Both my parents owned a business. My dad would, bake bread at 4 a.m. in the morning, and then he would go to bed at 1 or 2 a.m. after a restaurant shift. So I really resonate with that idea of seeing your family work and seeing, how the grind is happening within our own families. But my dad meditated for 30 minutes a day. He woke up 30 minutes early just to sit down and be, quiet and restful and to have a moment for himself. And I feel like even though our families may have been really grinding, either because it is an inherited system that lives in our bodies or just because we got to make ends meet, we do see the grind, but also a lot of the times we see rest happening in really beautiful small ways. And so I'm interested, and I'm posing the question of, what have you learned about rest from your family and friends? Who taught you to rest? Was it your mom being like, I can't talk or do anything until, I'm done drinking my coffee? And that was her way of being like, I just need a pause. I feel like we all have our ways of getting a pause in our family systems. And I'm curious of how you all noticed that either growing up or with your friends, and who taught that to you.
Mm. I think for me, definitely in a house, there was 8 of us. It was both my parents and there were 6
Big.
kids. And so
Wow.
being
Yeah.
oh,
These large families, somebody else said they had like
Yeah.
9 people.
parents were crazy. They were crazy. And then we also had a church. And so I never saw a difference or didn't see the difference between sleep and rest. My parents always put the two together, and it always was something that was earned after you've cleaned the house. You've done, your chores and stuff over the weekend, after we've done church and all the things. And even when you get home, it's still make sure everything is put together. Like, you just don't go home and go straight to sleep. There's something to do when you get home. And then, like, you got to check in with your parent, and then they'll give you permission to go lay down somewhere. Because if we woke up on a Saturday and we didn't get right to chores and we were just luxuriating on the couch like children love to do, we were definitely looked at as lazy. And so rest was something I had to learn after getting out of my parents' house, because grind and hustle culture was like permeating through our walls. It was like the thing. And my parents knew nothing of rest. And so it was nothing that they could give us. Like, that wasn't one of the gifts that they gave to their children. And so I think now I see it in my household, because we gonna rest, and we differentiate rest and sleep. They are not the same for us. And then I encourage my friends to rest. I'm not the friend you call and talk to about the new gig you just got offered, or how much work you was doing, or how late you stayed up last night doing this for somebody. I'm not that friend. I'm the friend you call and you tell me, all the restful wellness activities you did. So yeah, the long and short of it was, yeah, growing up, never saw it. Very foreign concept to me. I
It
see.
seems like a lot of people in the chat, yeah, said the same.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like Cash, hand is raised.
Mm-hmm.
How y'all doing? Yeah, so just like everybody else, I came from a household where, you grinded hard and everything like that. And one thing that I kind of noticed recently is, I actually went back and continued my education. I'm actually doing an internship right now as like a information security analyst. And what I've noticed is that, like, for me, the job, being in cybersecurity, it doesn't seem to be as demanding as if I was being a construction worker, or being a car salesman that had to work 6 days a week, things of that sort. And I found that in this field, it is real laid back, and the work, is not as stressful, which even with the job, they like for you to work remotely a lot. And so for me, it's opened up more free time for me, to myself, to my family, and things of that sort. So I know that, we know that, like, Black women are the highest, educated. And but I know that a lot of the Black males maybe are kind of lagging in that. And I just kind of found that by going over to a new career, like in cybersecurity, it kind of made, everything, life a lot more chill and laid back for me. And so even when I'm in some of these spots, I'm the only Black person, Black male there. Everybody else is, Asian, or, East Indian or whatnot. And so with a lot of these jobs as well, they're trying to have that diversity. And so I found, just me as a Black man, it's been kind of easier for me to kind of navigate and stuff with them, with these big companies trying to have diversity, and just raising my education. And that's just all kind of what I wanted to say.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on your
Thank
job.
you. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. I'm glad you got time.
Yeah.
There's a few comments. I was the first in my family to consider rest. Then Alicia said, actually, it was the dads and uncles and men folks that showed me how to take time to do hobbies, read a
I saw
newspaper,
that.
car wash, moments of quietude and personal interest. And then no one really taught me. As a teen, I was known for naps and resting. When I moved out, that went out the door.
I
Wow.
think when they said about the men folk teaching them, I was like, I do kind of agree with that. Like, I never really saw my mom resting, like, or my grandmother's resting, but I would see my grandfather resting and like my uncles and like my dad's resting. And then like on holidays, like, it's just a different dynamic. Like Santa Claus is my mom. Like my mom would do Christmas, like for the most part. She did like everything. It's like, but seeing it from them was, I think, how I kind of learned that you can rest. But it's like this also still like wrapped up in what it means to be a woman. Like, am I allowed to rest as like, am I and like able to like do all the things I need to do and like
Mission.
yeah. And then also like I was thinking too, like, because my dad's side of the family, they're really big in the civil rights movement. So they never really rested too, but it was tied up because they felt like they couldn't rest because they needed to like help people. And like as I moved through like my own like racial justice work or whatever, working with like this organization, other organizations, finding a balance between resting and making change, I think has also been like a huge thing, and like learning those types of things. And when you learn about these people that did it, they kind of frame it as that they're these one man crusaders. Like MLK was like this one man crusader who was just like going out there all the time as if he like never rested. But I'm like, sure, he rested and he had support system. Like you don't just do it by yourself, like it's a community. And like reframing what that means and how we rest together and take turns to rest together.
And I think, Savannah, you briefly mentioned it again. So much of our value is tied to our movement and how productive we are, which also goes back to trust. She mentions trust in the creator, in spirit. And rest and trust are so directly connected for me. And to me, both my movement and my rest are very sacred, you know? And in the book, she makes sure like you're not resting so that you could move, and so that you can be busy. You resting because you just need to rest. Like this is your birthright. This is for your own health and well-being, not being connected to a movement, your job, your family, your kids, none of that. This is just for you as an individual. And so when I think of rest and our families and our friend groups, I also have to question like, do you trust in a power and a being or creator beyond yourself to move on your behalf? Like you are not in this world, in this 3D situation alone, So it's like all these busy bees, it's a bunch of folks with trust issues. That's what it is, know? I see Latoya with her hand up.
When you said that, I was like, faith without works is dead. That's all I am thinking about. It's so hard because at this big age, no, I have not learned how to rest. And I wouldn't even know what it looked like. And so when Cash was talking about, oh, I just changed job careers and then I had all this free time on my hand, I was like, I would have built that up with something. What's going on?
Yeah.
But like I'm part of the hustle culture, and it's part of the problem. So I was asking a juvenile question about how do you rest and how do you schedule and prioritize that? I truly was being like, I couldn't even imagine. I would just be staring at the wall like, I should be doing something, and then driving myself. My anxiety would get the best of me. So
we're going to get into it. We're going to actually get into some ways in which you can rest, what it would look like incorporating that into your everyday life, because
Awesome.
that is incredibly important. We
Oh,
got
somebody takes their whole birthday month off. I'm trying to be like you.
Okay.
Oh, like, I want to be like you when I grow up.
Yes.
Are there any other comments or folks wanting to share about what they learned regarding rest from family or friends? And what we all just learned from Brownisha about the importance of taking our whole birthday month off.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do like too in the book where I think she talks about like how her grandmother and mother would like rest their eyes.
Mhm.
Like, I'm resting my eyes. I'm like, I'm gonna start doing that. Just take like a quick little break, rest your eyes, lay down, be still.
Ebony said, I'm with Cash. I'm in that same situation. And literally just this week, leaning into not feeling guilty with having more flexibility and with my time. I feel you. So my husband works in IT. He has 2.5 jobs. Like 2 are hella full time. And then he works part-time for NASA. He's assistant.
That's
in the
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a lot of work.
No, it's not.
Mhm.
No, it's not. And Cash knows what I'm about to say. So you would think with 2.5 jobs that it sounds like, wow, that person is like working. Savannah and Ray know I be at my desk working. But he maybe spends, I'm talking like all jobs combined, maybe 3 hours a day at his desk. And that's it.
What?
Both of our heads were like, what?
That's it. And so sometimes
Mapping.
it is changing careers or like changing organizations that would allow for you to rest. Y'all know these IT people, just make sure that it don't crash. It don't answer some questions, but make sure it don't crash. That is not like crazy stressful. Oh my God, I'm at the computer. And so there are moments, I think we owe it to ourselves to find opportunities that are readily available that would allow our burden to be easy and real light for us. Real light. And I think that we deserve that. But like Cash said, Ebony, go ahead, make that switch. And don't fill your time. Like he doesn't fill his time with a bunch of other stuff. He will luxuriate on the couch. He will go take a nap. He might go walk around the neighborhood.
Like, how she know?
It's a beautiful thing. You know what? I'm
I love
2.5 jobs. 2.5.
Oh yeah. Whoever said stop entertaining work calls at my end time. Yes. That you
Yeah.
are clocked out.
Yes.
Girl, you are clocked out.
I think what we are going to do, we're going to shift a bit and get into so on page
We
8.
do have one more hand up.
Uh-oh, did I miss that hand? Hey, Rachel.
Rachel.
I see you now.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hi. I just want to share at the age of 43, I never knew how to rest either. It's like I'm always doing this for family members. Then I attend to my kids. I don't never get time to myself. So since my dad just passed recently, which was 3 months ago, he said in his hospital bed, you need the rest. It's time for you to give time to yourself. Now it's like it's still hard for me to rest. It's too much. I do a lot every day, and it seems like it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the sound bath, so you making steps.
You
She was
making
resting.
steps.
Yeah, she was resting.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah, and I love you guys. This group is teaching me a lot of different things, meeting different people, and I just hope everybody have a good rest of the week because I know it's hard dealing with family issues, work issues, day life. So everybody just take it easy and take a deep breath and keep going. That's all.
Thank
We
you.
love seeing you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
For those who want to reference this next, thank you, Rachel. So on page 82, through I think like 85 or so, it gets into who resting is for and what resting looks like. But I'm going to read just a brief portion of it before we begin offering options for how we can begin to rest. On page 82, she says, rest is for all of us, a global movement for all to be able to tap back into our divinity. Rest is our divine right. It is not a luxury or privilege. Rest is as natural as breathing and waking up. Rest is part of our nature. Resting is about getting people back to their truest selves, to what they were before capitalism robbed you of your ability to just be. Rest is anything that slows you down enough to allow your body and mind to connect in the deepest way. I'm going to say it again for the people to the left of my screen. Rest is anything that slows you down enough to allow your body and mind to connect in the deepest way. We must be focused on knowing that our bodies and our worth are not connected to how many things we can check off a list. You can begin to create a not to do list as you gain the energy to maintain healthy boundaries. Our opportunity to rest and reimagine rest is endless. There is always time to rest when we reimagine. Resting is for everyone caught up in the web of grind culture. We must never forget that grind culture is a sinister collaboration between capitalism and white supremacy. When viewed from this lens, we're all caught up in these toxic systems, born, raised, and trained from birth under the same curriculum. Those who are wealthy, as well as those who are poor, are caught up in the spiritual deficiency that occurs when you are tied to a system like capitalism in any way. We are all harmed in unique ways. This fact is supported by studying history. Just like, wow, sis. Wow, wow, wow. So, and Rain and Savannah, we can all collaborate in this. Some places to begin with resting. Anybody, where do you think we can begin? For those of you who are already participating in rest, feel free to enlighten. But one of the places to begin she offers is to detox from social media weekly, monthly, or more. Have any of y'all done a detox from social media? Where you're like, listen, I'm not doing it for the week, for the day. I see a no. I also
Some
see
hands.
I see a hand. Miss Usher.
Oh, yes. I'm not really a big fan of scrolling on social media. I typically only use it to communicate with relatives overseas because they use like the messenger or, some kind of chat. But after like maybe 5 minutes and I see something that I don't want to, I just close it. Okay, and then I don't. Yeah, I'm just not. Yeah, I'm not into it. Like it's a lot. I know a lot of people who that might be their it's not really resting though, but some people they use that as a break, like from what they're doing, just to see, oh, see what's going on
Mhm.
Instagram or whatever. But me, sometimes it's even more stressful depending on what's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't regularly, but yeah, that's a good idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing.
thank you.
Miss Brownisha, you have your hand up.
I think you had stated about where did rest start. My memory was jogged. I remember some years ago, I actually started with making my whole entire house meditate. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we would meditate for like 2 hours where everybody's device had to be turned off, even mine as the mom. And I would just have the meditation music playing throughout the house. And what I saw was that my children began to pick up the behavior to where now my daughter is off to college, but she still implements the meditation days and turning her device off. And another thing I found, what being an iPhone user, they have the screen time. So I take advantage of screen time and D&D. I use it all to the full ability of not being contacted or seeing notifications, because it might trigger you to check it. So if you don't see it, then you don't go looking for it.
Mhm. That's beautiful. Thank you, Rachel, for being with us. Do not disturb, DND, do not disturb. Yep,
I love that.
absolutely. Rain or Savannah, can you provide options from page 85 on what resting can look like?
All right. Resting can look like closing your eyes for 10 minutes, a longer shower in silence, meditating on the couch for 20 minutes, daydreaming by staring out of a window, sipping warm tea before bed in the dark, slow dancing with yourself to slow music, experiencing a sound bath or other sound healing, a sun salutation, a 20-minute time nap, praying, crafting a small altar, a long warm bath, taking regular breaks from social media, not immediately responding to texts and emails, or deep listening to a full music album.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then
Rain,
it could,
other ones?
Mhm. So then a
Oh,
meditative walk
first,
in
right?
nature, knitting, crocheting, sewing, and quilting, playing a musical instrument, deep eye contact, or laughing intensely.
Ooh, isn't that great? Like one of
I
them good
love that.
stuff where you almost cry, like a
Mhm.
hearty, like that's now this deep eye contact. I like stood still with that. I said, huh, how many people do I have conversations with and we don't look like deeply in each other's eyes? I'm like, do sleepy people and folks who ain't rested, do we just be wandering everywhere? Like, are we not still within ourselves to be like, what is it? um, I'm definitely going to be more intentional with that, like deep eye contact.
Mhm.
But all of these are definitely um, simple, restful activities or moments that we can incorporate into our day. Simple things like a long warm bath. Because here's the thing, you gonna get clean. You're not gonna work and get all in your bed, dirty feet and booty. Like it's just you gonna get in that bath or shower. So make it long. That is beautiful and restful. When was the last time you slow danced with yourself? Has anyone done that recently? I see, I see a head no. So y'all, I'm a Target addict. I probably need a group for it. But I got a
Me too.
dress from there recently, and I put on this white dress with like the shoulder off, put on like my favorite Anita Baker jam, and had a good old time in the mirror dancing and just enjoying myself. And it felt good. My therapist often says, like, when I'm in the shower, like move very slowly in there and like and like washing and tending to myself. And then when I come out, like really spend that time with myself. Again, like rest at those very slow moments. Like I'm cool that it takes me 15 minutes to go through my face routine. You know, whereas to my partner, he'd be like, splish splash, done. A minute out, and I'm like, whoa. So it's like I will take my time, like lathering my skin with all the yummy body butter. Like, take your time with yourself. Like, you deserve that. And that's a restful moment. There's nothing, you don't have to be fast. There is no time limit. Like, nobody is making you do this in 5 minutes, you know? And so, all of these activities, I think, require our intentionality and our deepest attention. And they really don't involve nobody else. All of this was like stuff you could do at home, like by yourself.
Mhm.
Charlisa, I see your hand up.
Yes, when you asked the question, as she was reading them off about the slow dance, I am a #1 fan for that. And I on my music too, and I dance to myself. I even get dressed up, and this is like 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, okay? And I even schedule like it's a date, okay? We had dinner, I cooked dinner for myself. I'm single, so I cook dinner for myself, then have a romantic dance, and then I go and take a beautiful long bath and just sit, just have the music in the background, the candles lit, and just enjoy myself with a good book.
Ooh, ooh. You better date you, okay?
That's right. That's right.
Sound like you like and love yourself. That's what I'm here for, okay? Wow, that is amazing. Um, Definitely. This number 4, daydreaming by staring out of a window. Now,
Mhm.
for some folks, that might seem a little awkward. It might seem lazy. It might seem like you're crazy. However, getting into that daydream space, allowing ourselves to become imaginative, is where a lot of healing can take place. Also, rest can take place. So much of what we experience in our world began in our mind. There is no part of my life that I did not create first with a thought and with an image literally in my mind, and so daydreaming is a very powerful tool when we think of rest because of how it shapes our bodies, how it shapes our health and wholeness, but how it shapes the world, the small world, individual world that we get a chance to experience. And so definitely take out a little bit of time, daydream a bit. That's something that I started doing like during my morning meditations. Like, I'm just gonna take a minute, just daydream about anything, allow your mind and all of your internal parts to just kind of go in spaces near or far from here. Are there any other ideas for what rest can look like that anyone either practices or maybe what has even come to you? Christy said, I love daydreaming.
Mhm. Me too.
I would love to talk about deep listening to an album.
Ooh.
What? That one, I like underlined that. I was like, dang, if I could listen to any album, like I feel like there's so many albums that I want to listen to again now for the first time. Just like lay down, have my candles lit with my headphones on. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I love that.
Ooh, I see
Let's
Miss
see.
Rahim.
Yeah, that's me. Thanks.
Hi.
Hey, how is everybody this evening?
Beautiful.
My version of rest is kind of to piggyback on the music. I
Mm,
find that I love creating customized playlists on Spotify.
that's a love
Um,
language.
Okay, drop the
and
link.
okay. I have different ones depending on the mood and depending on, the time of day. I have a good morning one that plays all kinds of stuff, and that's what I listen to when I wake up. And it kind of sets my day, sets my mood. It's not, it's not fast music. It's just kind of like nice, mellow, restful music. I do follow, I do also listen to the Nat Ministries Spotify playlist as well.
Mhm.
But I'm finding that I like creating my own because that way I can customize stuff from way back when I was a kid or a teenager or my 20s or whatever, based upon the feeling I have for then. And it makes me happy. And when I feel happy, I feel rested.
Wow, that is so beautiful. That made me think of like back in the day when we would slang like our mix CDs that we would make, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
that was vibe and a whole moment. Like I knew my friends loved me if they created like a little CD with
Yep.
all. Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Did you just drop did somebody drop a playlist up in here? Oh,
I
Ebony
think
dropped.
it's the map
Okay.
ministry one.
Okay. Miss Jones, I see your hand up. Miss Jones. There you go.
Okay, yes, I go through this routine each morning. I give myself a big hug and close my eyes, and I quote scripts. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I bless the Lord at all times. His praises shall continually be in my mouth. So
Mhm.
I go through that ritual with some scripture every morning, and it's so gratifying. And then I'll often leave that place where I am and go to my living room. And in the schoolyard, there are these two big, beautiful trees. And I communicate with these trees because sometimes if it's a little windy, or even in the afternoon or later evening, when the wind starts, they're dancing and communicating with each other, and I'm communicating with them and imagining them as a family, So I enjoy that communicating with nature.
Yeah.
It does so much for my spirit. Thank you.
Mm.
Same.
Thank you for sharing that with us. That is beautiful. Um, we have one more simple exercise that we are going to engage in community together. We're also going to ask one more question that will allow for all of us to share because one thing that we make certain of, definitely within our wellness spaces, but definitely at Black Women for Wellness, we don't want to just be in community and talk for the sake of talking. We want our lives to be transformed. And so it's important for us to honor these moments by also saying, hey, you know what? I can make an agreement to commit to this one restful act. I'm just going to try it out, and incorporate this one restful act into my life um, for the next 24 hours or for the next week. And so in community, we're going to get an opportunity to share what is the 1 to 3 restful practices that we will incorporate into our lives. So we're going to get a moment to think about that. What I'm going to ask so kindly of y'all is that I am going to, before we end our night, there is this survey link I've put in the chat. if you can for me, I'm going to put on a little Anita in the background. Can we all take this? They say it's 5 minutes. It might be less than a 5-minute survey. And then when we get finished, after this Anita Baker song plays, we're going to allow ourselves to share what's the one restful act. And then we are going to close with prayer and meditation as we honor ourselves, as we honor our ancestors in agreeing to rest. Are we all down with that? Give me a thumbs up, a head nod. All right, all right, all right. I have the link. Well, let me drop it one more time. There is the link for the quiz. For the survey. I'm going to play my Anita while you all complete that survey. And then once my Anita kind of like fades out, we're going to get into the restful practice that we're going to commit to. Okay, y'all? All right, here we go. Ain't there something I can give in exchange for everything you give to me? Read my mind, you make me feel just fine. When I think my peace of mind is out of reach, the scales are sometimes unbalanced, and you bear the weight of all that has to be. I hope you see that you can lean on me, and together we can calm the stormy seas. When love's so strong and so unselfishly, and I tell you now that I made a vow, I'm giving you the best that I got, baby. Yes, I tell you now that I made a vow, I'm giving you the best that I got, honey. Everybody's got opinions about the way they think our story's gonna end. Some folks feel it's just a superficial thrill. Everybody's gonna have to think again. We love so strong and so unselfishly. They don't bother me, so I'm gonna keep on giving you the best that I've got, baby. They don't bother me, said I'm gonna keep on giving you the best that I got. Listen, baby, somebody understand me. Somebody give his hand to me. I stumbled my whole life long, always on my own. Now I'm home, and the weary mind is rested, and I feel as if my home is in your arms. My fears are all gonna let the sound of your song, and I think I wanna sing it forever. We love is so strong and so unselfishly, and I made a vow, so I tell you now I'm giving you the best that I've got. Listen, baby, I bet everything on my wedding ring. I'm giving it to you, baby. Auntie Anita. How we love you. Well, so here we are. Hopefully, you've gotten a chance to complete that brief survey. If you're still working through it, take your time. Latoya, you asked, is this monthly? Can you share information? Here's the thing, Latoya, this particular topic will not be monthly. We will incorporate nuances of rest and liberation throughout all of our Wellness Wednesday sessions. We do have 3 more sessions of this particular mental health series left. And so Rain will definitely be sending out more information on the next ones. And then in the summer, we will have healing circles and all sorts of other amazing experiences that we can all join in on. And so definitely stay tuned for that. Before we close and provide a meditation and prayer over us all, are there any last words, final thoughts? Folks who are like, wait a second, I don't have a book, but I need a book. Sis, can you get me a book? If you've got anything left to say, you've got a second or two to come off mute and bless us with your voice.
One thing I want to add, because we've been talking about capitalism a lot today. And I think for me, one thing that was really helpful when I thought about capitalism and like thinking about ways to live outside of capitalism is that like commerce is not only a part of capitalism. Like you can have commerce and trade and like that type of stuff outside of capitalism. So like as we think about how we want our structures and our societies to be, how can we continue to like have the things that we enjoy about these systems in different, less appropriative ways, I think is important. So like, how can we sell things together without it being so extractive of people and like their labor, their identities, their ability to have culture and share time with their families so we can just be whole and well together, I think is just something to think about.
Mm-hmm. If you all can and are willing to, in the chat or off mute, whatever you're comfortable with, why don't you share with us one rest practice you are willing to incorporate into your life and daily habits? Anybody? Let us not all speak at once. Taking a break from social media. Woo! Slow dancing. Take 5. Oh, wait. Take 5 minutes to express what I'm grateful for. Absolutely. Get great rest session for me tonight. Enjoyed the conversation and community. Learn some new insights and rest practices that will incorporate it within my daily living. Driving down the coast. Oh my goodness, that is going to be beautiful. Stretching more. Midday deep breathing. Yeah, absolutely. These are beautiful. Stare into space. You better look. Absolutely. More breathing sessions and aromatherapy. Ooh, I like that for you. Resting outside in the sun daily. What a beautiful practice. Yep. Journaling and manifesting, because you got that power. Like, come on and be aligned. Doing my hair with love. My hair know the difference, especially oil in my scalp. Because Ebony, you be bonnet ready. Okay. Taking a walk. Ebony, I'm about 2 seconds away from putting on my bonnet. Okay. It's happening.
I'm already there, girl. I'm already there.
Yeah. For those who are considering like meditation, a few things that she asked us to consider on page 162. is answering the question, what do I feel called to do? How can I create space for me and my community to heal? What needs healing in me? Can the idea of unplugging and resting for a whole month be reimagined by creating smaller moments daily or weekly? One question that my friends and I check in with each other often, we ask, how is your heart? Which causes people to like slow down and like really check in with themselves. Miss Della, I see your hand.
Yes, I was just wondering what was the name of the book. I keep hearing about the book, but I didn't want to interrupt. But I would like to know the name of the book. I typed in the chat, but I know I said maybe I need to act, for myself. But I don't know the name of that book.
The book is called Rest is Resistance.
Okay.
Manifesto.
Okay, Rest is Resistance Manifesto, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very kindly.
Yep, you are welcome. These are beautiful, beautiful ways in which you all will be resting. I am here for all of it. Thank y'all for being in community with us tonight. Thank y'all for sharing, for being open and vulnerable, for being attentive, and yeah, really for being in community. I see some questions right here. There you go, Ebony. Yep. Yeah, those are some additional questions to ask yourselves. Well, y'all, we are at the end of this night, and we are going to round out the experience by allowing ourselves to just exhale, allow our bodies to feel relaxed, feel at ease, allow our spirits to really just be able to capture this moment and to honor it by allowing ourselves to be still and praying in community, which I think is something beautiful and sacred, because y'all know we be a spiritual people. And so we get an opportunity to be still and know together in community. And so if you can, allow yourself to be still and completely comfortable. If you like me and you sitting in a chair, allow your shoulders to be relaxed and your back to be relaxed a bit. Allow your arms to fall at your side. And allow yourself to take comfort in knowing that you are good enough. Take comfort in knowing that you did an incredible job showing up for yourself tonight. And when you are most ready, you may soften your gaze and close your eyes. And allow yourself to bear witness to a rested body. And for a moment, place your hand gently over your heart and gently over your core. Paying attention to the natural rhythm and pace of your breath. Reminding yourself that in that body houses a soul that is good and God enough for this lifetime. And for a moment, think of that one family member or that one friend who never had the opportunity to rest. Think of that grandmother who only knew work and labor and sacrifice and giving and a hard knock life. We extend gratitude to her. It is because of that labor, that work, we will honor that by choosing in this lifetime to rest. For our ancestors' blood runs through our veins, and they are with us, supporting us, championing us, and encouraging us to rest. We acknowledge the divine, the creator, the mother of all, and knowing that in us is everything that will be and everything that is love. And as we are good enough. Our bodies will know rest. Our hearts and our minds will know rest. From this day forward, we will trust. We will know that our movement and our rest is sacred. Doing no thing is sacred. Going nowhere is a sacred location that is a birthright for us to reside in. And for that, we are grateful. And so we pray. Divine source of rest and liberation, we come before you today with grateful hearts, seeking rest, liberation, and wholeness. We honor our ancestors, those who paved the way and carried the weight of struggle and oppression. May their spirits find eternal rest and their sacrifices guide us towards freedom. Grant us the wisdom to recognize the importance of rest, not just for our physical bodies, but also for our minds and spirits. Help us release the burdens of grind culture, reclaiming our time and energy as sacred and worthy of nourishment. In our quest for liberation, guide us to embrace the power of self-care and restoration. Remind us that rest is not a luxury, but a fundamental need for our well-being and growth. Teach us to find balance in the rhythms of life, knowing that by replenishing ourselves, we become stronger advocates for justice and change. As we seek wholeness, heal the wounds inflicted on us by systems of oppression. May our rest be a form of resistance, a radical act of self-care that restores our spirits and replenishes our strength. Help us dismantle the barriers that prevent us from experiencing true rest and liberation, so that we may live fully and authentically. Tonight, we pray for all those who are weary and burdened, who bear the weight of racial injustice. Grant us all peace that surpasses all understanding, and surround us with communities that support and uplift our restful journeys. Divine Source, we humbly ask for your guidance and grace as we navigate paths towards rest, liberation, and wholeness. Tonight, may our prayers be heard, and may our actions align with the divine calling for justice and healing and rest. And so it is. Together, let us deeply inhale and hold that breath, that very sacred breath, and exhale. Again, let us inhale together and hold that breath and exhale. Last time, because something about 3 is powerful, y'all. Inhale and hold and exhale. And when you are ready, take your arms and extend them out to your sides, allowing your chest and your heart space to expand as wide as you can get those arms. Wide, wide, wide. And then provide yourself with a beautiful embrace. Imagining that this is our grandmothers, our great great grandmothers, and great grandfathers, and all of our ancestors embracing us, reminding us, granting us permission to rest, to be still and know, to honor our divinity from this day forward with rest as a sacred act of resistance. And when you are ready, you may release that beautiful embrace and open up your eyes. Welcome back, y'all. Thank y'all for being with us. This has been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night. It's my prayer that y'all go ahead now and rest, okay? I'll find you a restful practice, a restful activity of sorts. Go journal, go drink some water, some good tea. Thank y'all so much for being in community. Ebony, I think you meant love, light, and bonnets to us all, but I'm gonna let you slide. Yeah, I'm gonna let you slide tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We look forward to resting more in community with y'all, and definitely to being in community with y'all next week as we get into some spiritual tools. So next week, my herbalist sister friend will be here with us. We get to talk about how herbalism is a spiritual tool for mental health and wholeness. We also have an incredible, I think she is an Ifa priestess who will be with us next week and who will let us know how journaling and writing is a spiritual practice that can assist in our mental health and wholeness. And for those who are interested in crystals and cards, and you might be hearing of all of the things and you're wondering, what the hell is that stuff? And wondering how that can be spiritual tools that you can use for mental health and wholeness. We will have 2 owners of a beautiful shop in Calabasas who will be with us next week as well. We get to continue this conversation. So much of the book talks about how resting allows us to connect with our own divinity and our spirituality. So next week, join us back here. We get to dive into some more conversation and get some more tools. All right. I see a question. Thank you so much. If there are no more questions or comments, I'm gonna play Anita some more. While folks exit, and hopefully we see y'all again soon. Miss Latrice Jones. Miss Latrice, I believe we have your email. I will have Rain contact you regarding your book. Thank y'all so much. Let me get my Anita. I slacked just a little bit. Boom. I'm a slow dance to Anita tonight, y'all. In my bedroom by myself. See y'all next week. In exchange for everything you give to me.
everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Thank y'all for coming.